Will we start? We are going to look at next. I wanted to keep a target as well. Part of our chapter today. When I'm starting a chapter in terms of the workout, let's tell you what is there in the chapter for you to study. If you are scribble things, copy things around, I recommend you copy that part. Very important. For every chapter, I'll tell you what is there for you to make a consolidated list. At your end, starting this chapter, you would share. Say for me to study. Study this much chapter, I can say I'm done. Likewise, I've allocated for you for this chapter as well. Section 15 is what you study from value of supply chain. A very simple chapter. Analyze the chapter as W2. Questions can be tricky. English can be tricky inside. They can use language to convert. What is this chapter 7? One chapter that we can learn independently in terms of a question. The previous discussion, what is the question we were trying to address and then get an answer? What was the category of question we were targeting? Computation of net GST payable. Right? Now, if you look at this chapter, chapter 7, value of supply, we are trying to get an answer to a question called computation of taxable value of supply. They ask you questions touching 15. Lucky question, no? Earlier they used to ask in every exam. Little bit of random picking. I don't want to ask you in every exam, but every 2 exam once, let me put you something on their thought process. We are now at the second category of question. Understand this question. This chapter has what is section 15? What is value of supply? Then we have something called as section 15 has 3 subsection, 15 subsection, 15 subsection and 15 subsection 3. 3 subsection. We also learn together with it we will learn few circulars which can also be slightly tricky. An additional circular now. So 15 subsection 1, 15 subsection 2, 15 subsection 3. This is all we learn. What is value? Then there is a circular clarification on discount, which is connected with something called as sales promotion. What is the GST impact on sales promotion? What if I give you a discount? Like Swiggy offers you a discount. Order food on Swiggy application, tells you that okay, if you add item worth 59 more, 20%. The GST impact of that. Right? That we will discuss. Circular class. All the circulars are a direct road, a door to an examination. Can always. They don't draft questions on all the circulars a lot. Generally ask a lot on the reason circular, the method in which you can prioritize. They've asked questions like as high as 6 marks in agent called as del creditor agent, DCA. Understand DCA, you should have an understanding of para 3. Touch upon, learn that part also together with this chapter. Chapter will go try to have 360-degree viewpoint on that area. Then there is a circular clarification on EMI scheme. What will be the impact of interest in GS? Then there's a concept called as no claim bonus. What is a no claim bonus? What will be the then TPS under income tax, connection of that with fifth area. Then people earlier had might have we've written in last exam or last exam would have seen that there was a circular which was there in the amendment material of ICAI. It was about warranty and additional warranty. Now removed from C. You don't have to read that complicated circular. They're not going to ask you a question on warranty claim and their impact in tax credit. Finish your inter, come to my final classes. I'll there. Wait. Not there at this level. So if you want to just recap at some point this chapter, the chart that you will look at and tick. Chapter start with enough questions. What is section 15, 1, 2, 3? I'll give you a quick intro to that before I start with questions. Let's look at that for a while. As the open values chapter, first have an understanding on what is 51, 50. Every example of section 15 start with this. Yeah. Start with it. It's every way. Tell it up for me to. You the whole full name. Wilkie. Wilkie. So suppose I'm a seller. I'm selling mobile phone to Wilkie, and mobile phone is priced at 10,000 rupees. What is the value of supply? 1,000. Your mobile phone worth 10,000 rupees. Value supplies 10,000. But what is value? Transaction value is value. On that only will be GST. No? I'm giving you a bill. I'll give you a bill 10,000 value of mobile phone. I'll add GST and I'll give you a bill. Value is used for computing GST. However, suppose the same mobile phone I'm giving to a related person. Extra term called related person. It have a definition for related person in the GST. If I'm giving this to a related person, will I give it for 10,000? I might give it for a lower value. Government says I don't trust transaction value at that time. For me to trust transaction value, I'm putting a condition. What is the condition number 1? Supply is not between related person. Second, I'm giving the same mobile phone. I'm giving the same mobile phone to another person. Right? Same 10,000 worth mobile phone, which has an open market value of 10,000, which I sold to Wilkie for 10,000. I'm selling to someone else. The second person, when they are selling it to me, they gave this old phone that they already have with them back to me. Give the old mobile phone back to me. Old mobile phone, I realized a value of 3,000 rupees. Then what will be the price that they will pay to me? 7,000. Can I say that I got only 7,000? I'll pay GST only on 7,000 because there I got 7,000. They also got some other consideration. What is that some other consideration? Old mobile phone also is consideration only. So the transaction value, which is price paid, is 7,000. I don't consider that as the value. Value includes something else also. So they put an additional condition and said, for me to trust the 7,000 as the value, or for me to trust the price paid by them as the value, putting an additional condition. That condition is that the price that I'm getting should be the only consideration for that condition that they put in. Price must be the sole consideration for the supply. The two conditions you satisfy. I'll take transaction value as the value. What are the two conditions that you can see it on the screen? One, supply is not between related person, and second, price is the sole consideration for the supply. What if I don't satisfy the condition? I've written a note here. It says, can you read from the notes? If supply is between a related person or it is having non-monetary consideration like an exchange, value is determined using valuation rules. Learn only at CA final level. But it says simple point. What is that point says? Take the open market value. Government says that even if you give it to the related person, I want GST on 10,000, the market value. Even if you collect only 7,000, collect another 3,000 worth old phone, I still want GST on 10,000. Right. So they said, your valuation based on transaction value, your valuation based on transaction value will be taken only if you satisfy. Understanding? Okay, now, what is that people wanted to do with the value? As a supplier, I know that anyway I'm going to collect the GST from the consumer. Consumer pays extra, less. Why should I be bothered? I don't pay from my pocket, no? The supplier think like that. Why? Based on my GST and the value, what will also be affected? Sale price also will be affected. The sale price is lower, be able to make more sales. So if the product is having a value of 10,000 and GST rate is 18%, what is MRP at which I will sell it to the customer? 7,800. Right? The same mobile phone is only having a value of 5,000 and 18% GST is applicable. What will be the value at which I will sell it? 5,900. So just because I want to pay lower GST, will I sell a mobile worth 10,000 for 5,000? Never. Why? Big losses, no? Want to pay less GST? I'll give you discount. I'll give you product for free. What is that the supplier wants? A variety combination. I want you to give me 10,000 only. But for the government, I'll tell use only GST apply only on 5,900 GST. But you give me how much? 10,000 only. It's a nice thing. Can people do this? People can figure out methods. This is what the government should curtail. How they will do? I'm going to create a transaction. Simple. The classroom example that I generally give you. I'm going to create a transaction. I'm also going to tell you how government is going to counter this. Your name? Arvind is going to purchase the same mobile phone I have sold to Wilkie. Now Arvind is purchasing this particular mobile phone and I have created Arvind's mobile phone to be having a value of 10,000 only. However, for GST I want to reduce it. Arvind, today you purchase the mobile phone. I'm going to give you a bill of 5,000 plus GST. 5,000 plus GST. How much is the GST that I'm going to give you? 18%, which is 5,900 bill I gave. But in my cash box, how much money I want? 10,000. Told Arvind, do one thing. Pay me today. Pay me after 1 week. The delay in payment of consideration. So I will collect an interest of 5,000. How much comes to my cash box? 5,900 from the bill. Another 5,000 as interest. How much came to my cash box? 10,900. Out of that, I told GST department, hey, your value is 5,000 only. Well, I was sold for 5,000. Bill was 5,000 only. My cash box 5,000 plus the interest 5,000, 10,000. So the government is asking, give me GST on that interest. No, 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 interest is exempted. No, interest on loans and advances. Can I do transaction like this? People can plan. No, what if people plan? What the government want to counter? Government, what did they do? Said, I will not only take your value as transaction value. You collected some other amount from the same customer, like interest on delayed payment of consideration. I will ask you to add it back to the value. Which section? 15 subsection close D. I said value for the purpose of GST is transaction value. I'm elaborating transaction value as you can see it on the screen. Transaction value under section 15(1) plus items to be included in value under section 15 subsection 2 plus minus if you have given any genuine discount, you will reduce the discount which is also given under section 15 subsection 3. This method of valuation I will take only if customer, the recipient and the supplier are not related person and customer only pays in terms of money. Anything changed to any of this condition, it go to market value. Understanding? But at CA inter level, we know that conditions are by default satisfied. They'll give you questions for that only, section 15 computation. What will be our method of computation in CA inter? Would only be that they'll give you items to be included, not to be included, discount and all that, and ask you to compute what is the taxable value for applying GST. Sometimes tax also. Understanding? What we will do? Directly go to question. Section 15 value is not something that I have to take as a theory topic. Go to the question, we will understand how the questions are being tested. Then we will try to come back to the provision as and when the session is happening and then try to understand whether it to be or not. Let's look at a simple. First we will look at practical theory based question. Then I will go back to each provision for you, try to look at the provision and then give you understanding. First question is here. With reference to the provisions relating to transaction value under section 15, which of the following is not correct? Asking you which is correct. Ideally, out of the 4, how many should be correct? 3 should be correct, should be incorrect. You should also understand why it is incorrect, why it is correct. First, central excise duty will not be included in transaction value for supply of tobacco. Correct or incorrect? Incorrect. Why? Not included, they mentioned. This is central excise duty. They include also into value of supply. The next question, will there be excise duty even today? Merged under GST? These are the questions that we should answer from. Let's go back to the topic and try to understand that. In your section 15 subsection 2, if you look at 15(2), have our chart notes, you would find a chart like this. 1 page full chart, full learning, not even summary. So what is that we are trying to learn here? I'm saying that I told you there are items to be included in value under section 15(2) if not already included. Okay, so 15 subsection 2 says if not already included in value should include certain item, right? Apart from the money, say apart from the 5,000 I've collected, I also collected 5,000 as interest. Should I include? I should check which section? 15 subsection. There are 5 items to be included in 15 subsection 2 if not already included in transaction value. What is clause A? You read clause A. Taxes, duties, cess, fees and other charges under any law other than GST and cess, if charged separately by supplier from recipient, will be added to the. If at all for any product or services apart from GST, if the customer is paying any other taxes to the supplier, Okay, so all of this has a word called charged by supplier. Then GST should be a tax that you will levy after that other tax. Three examples. You can summarize and then go to the exam. Expect only three. There are three taxes that they might test you in your exam and ask you to understand this can be levied even after GST. Then GST value would be you including this other tax. Look at those examples first. What are those taxes that we have? Example number one, entertainment taxes levied by means today when you go for your movie, what are the taxes that is applicable? Only GST, yeah? No. What is applicable? Entertainment taxes by whom? Can Tamil Nadu government levy entertainment taxes? No. But can Chennai Municipal Corporation levy entertainment taxes? Yes, because they are a local authority. You have taxes levied by local authority even after introduction of GST. And the next question, say suppose you're going for Chepak Stadium to watch a match. The entry ticket value is 800 rupees per ticket. Apart from that, what you have? ET. What is ET have written here? Entertainment taxes 100 rupees. The next question, because you have entertainment taxes, can I say there will not be any GST? There will be GST. On what value GST will be levied? 800 or on 1000? 1000 including entertainment taxes. Example number one. Example number two, what is it? Apart from GST, what other taxes are still applicable? Excise duty on what? Tobacco and tobacco product. Tobacco and tobacco products are called as demerited product. Product which should have very high rate of taxes. So what is the government decided to do? To keep the excise duty on tobacco, still levy. So look at ITC Limited is manufacturing 100 grams of tobacco and tobacco product. That advertisement that comes right before your movie, right? Pan masala, that thing. That's why they're saying tobacco and tobacco product. All of those products will still have SGT, and first they manufactured 100 grams of tobacco product, valued it at 10,000. First, what tax will be levied? Excise duty. On top of it, what will be levied? GST will be levied. So, excise duty, let's assume it's 10%, just for example. What value will be considered for levying GST? 10,000 or 11,000? 11,000 is the answer. Why are you adding excise duty into the value for computing GST? Because section 15 subsection 2 clause A say all taxes other than GST should be added to the value. It is collected by whom? The supplier from the receipt. So on what value GST is levied? 28%, 11,000. Then I have added something more for an extra learning here. What is it called as? Cess. Written something called cess at 20%. I have written here. My next question, what is cess? Normally our understanding of cess is that cess is a tax on the tax, right? Income tax will compute it like that. On income tax we have cess. However, GST cess does not mean that. GST cess certain product. Why does a full form of this cess in GST? GST compensation. What is this? The word is compensation means for 5 years, starting of GST, for 5 years, any state government had a loss of revenue because of introduction of GST, central government compensate the state government for this loss. To get money for compensating, had introduced what says compensation. 5 years means when it is ending? 2017 July 1 plus 5 years, 2022 June 30. What ended? Compensation ended. They end compensation cess. No, continuing till March 2026. Central government said to compensate the cess was not enough. We have taken loan. We are paying EMI. Structure of it. Written that also. Next question would be, when I have cess, will I compute it on value including GST, or will I compute it on the same value for which I have computed GST? Same value for which point. So if I have for tobacco, if I have GST at 28% and cess at 20%, I can simply say GST is what percent? 48%. This 28% GST will be computed on 11,000, which is 3,080. This 20% cess is also computed on 11,000 only. Understanding? But this money of 2,200 can only be used for compensating state government. The difference. So I've written that in your point for you to remember. What is it? In GST compensation cess is computed on value under section 15, used for compensating states for its loss of revenue upon introduction of GST for 5 years, that is from 1st July 2017 till 30th of June 2022. It is continued till 2020. Third one, taxes other than GST that is tested in your examination is what tax? Municipal taxes by local authority. When you have still property taxes still applicable. So sometimes in the question they would say municipal taxes collected from the customer by the landlord is this much. This is a tax other than GST will be added to the. Back to the question. Tell me, central excise duty will not be included. Correct answer or wrong answer? Wrong answer. Municipal taxes paid by tenant will be included in transaction value for renting services. Correct or incorrect? Correct. 2A. Entertainment taxes included in movie ticket will form part of transaction value. Correct or incorrect? Correct. Then look at the D. Customer makes payment of freight which is payable by supplier directly to the service provider. However, supplier does not include this amount in the invoice. Such amount will be included in transaction value of the supplier. Section. Customer makes payment of freight payable by the supplier. Some amount was payable by the supplier. Paid it. Customer directly paid this amount to a third party on behalf of whom? Supplier. Will it be included in the value for computing GST? Yes. I can then look at what is 15 says. That order. So A we explained. Let B. Please. Let's read it. Direct third party payment by recipient on behalf of supplier in relation to supply will be included in the value of supply. For this. Very simple thing. See, Caterpillar is a company which is going to sell a machine to Radha. And the machine is requiring a certification. Now, Caterpillar company had told Radha, certification is not going to be done by a separate engineer. Total price of the machine is 1,10,000. But Caterpillar company, the supplier of machinery, told Radha, do one thing, pay us only 1 lakh. You can reduce her 10,000 pay to third party directly. My value of be 1 lakh or 1,10,000. Check this whether this would form part of 15.2b. What is 15.2b? One sentence I've split it into 4 parts. First, is it a direct third party payment by who's the recipient here? Radha. The third party here. Is it direct third party payment? Yes. Then the next important word, is it on behalf of supplier? How do I check whether it's on behalf of supplier or not? Ask the question. Is this chartered engineer, if he's not getting 10,000, whom he would catch? That he would catch Radha or he would catch Caterpillar? Caterpillar, because Caterpillar only appointed him. If so, then it should be headed back to the, suppose the same contract, not like that earlier one, it is like this, wherein Caterpillar said, I'll give you machine. You only do. Caterpillar collected 1 lakh rupees. Radha took the machine to an engineer separately, separate contract. Some engineer gave bill to Radha. What will be the value of supply for Caterpillar? Like a 1,10,000. Only 1 lakh. Value of supply because payment is not behalf of supply. Please remember this word on behalf. How do you check whether it's on behalf of or not? Engineer would have been appointed, should have been appointed by Caterpillar, and the bill would have been given by engineer to Caterpillar. Then I can say it is on. So, suppose, question, suppose I am the one who sending you goods. I am selling you goods. And what is that I told you? I will deliver the goods to your location. We will arrange transport. After arranging transportation, I told you pay the money to the transporter directly. So the transporter will give bill to whom? That's the case. What will be the value of supply? Should I add back this right also into my transaction value? Yes. What is the clause? Understanding? Will it be included in value? Yes. Under which section? 15 subsection 2 clause. All the incidental expenses will be considered to be those B item when it is directly paid by the recipient to a third party. If supplier is only paying, then also it will be added to the value, but will be added under 15 to incidental expense. What is it? Understanding? So in this question, what's the answer? So the question. Good question. Practical theory question. Read the question. AKJ Foods Private Limited gets an order for supply of processed from a customer. The customer wants the consignment tested for gluten and specified chemical residue. AKJ Foods Private Limited does the testing before supply and charges testing fees for the same from the customer. AKJ Foods Private Limited argues that such testing fees should not form part of the consideration for the sale as it's a separate activity. The company's argument correct in the light of section 15? Correct in the light of section? Why? Which section are we invoking here? 15 subsection 2 clause C. Let's go back and then read clause C. Back to this. What does clause C says? Incidental expenses incurred by supplier in relation to supply at the time of or before the delivery of goods or supply of service charged by supplier to recipient will be all the expenses. Remember how to write this answer also. That's also important for us. All the expenses incurred by supplier in relation to supply till I'm there delivering the goods to you or giving services to you, and finally separately shown that in the bill. I add it to the value. Consider it supply. The main supply you add it to the value and then pay one. What could be these incidental expenses? To get better clarity, what I've done, listed the whole expenses into a list. Examination, what are the incidental expenses generally tested? Get the list. That's all you have to wait for. Of this will packing charges. They separately show packing charges. Product prices 100 rupees, packing charges 10 rupees. What is the value of supply? 110. Very simple. They're showing product price is 100 rupees, packing charges 10 rupees, testing charges 10 rupees. What is the value of supply? 120. These are what? Incidental expenses incurred by the supplier in relation to supply. Finally, I collected from you. So I separately show in the bill, we add it to the value. Inspection charges, installation charges, weighment charges. What is weighment charge? What is a weighment charge? Suppose you are selling a large volume of product, 20,000 kg metal, send it to the customer. But does not trust you. What the customer will do? After metal reaches there, they will have to put a weighing machine, the metal there, eat and check whether it is 20,000 kg or not. Is it practically possible? Solution in the industry is like this. After the metal is loaded, the lorry will be taken a weight. Lorry will go and then park inside a weigh bridge. They will compute what is the weight of the lorry. The weight of the lorry is 20,000 kg. Then they will look at what is the weight of the lorry before the loading. 1000 kg. There's a net weight loaded into the lorry. 3000 will certify. A third party will certify. Now the third party certifying ask you the supplier says, hey, you only wanted the weight certificate, no? We pay that. Added in the bill. Will that be included in the value of supply? Paid by whom? Supplier in relation to the supply. Finally got it from the, that's weighman charge. Warranty and additional warranty charges collected. Sales commission collected. Sales commission. My product value is only 10 rupees, sales commission 20 rupees. Will I still add it to the value? Yes. Cost of instruments specially purchased for supply. These are the things that generally comes in for example, even beyond this. Generally. Now let's go back to the question and then see what is the question. AKJ Foods Private Limited gets an order for supply of processed food from a customer. Customer wants consignment tested for gluten and specified chemical residues. AKJ Foods Private Limited does the testing before the supply, charges a testing fee for the same. What is that they have done? Testing. And they, what did they do? They spend some money for testing fee. Did they collect this testing fee from the customer? Yes. What is their argument? Do this in. You ask, it's a separate activity. I will separately bill it. Can they do that? No. Included in the value of the process. Under which section? 15 subsection. Those. How do you write this answer? Let's forget answer being there. Let's write the answer for this. Practical theory question. How do you write the answer? First you should write the provision. Let's write the provision. Write the provision. Let us look at the chart and then write the provision. Not even asking you to write the provision without looking at the chart. You can look at the provision then write it. How do you start with? As per section. What is the section number here? 15 subsection 2 close C. 15 in bracket 2 in bracket C of which act? CGST Act 2017. Incidental expenses. Incidental expense. Will write. What is it? Right. As per section 15C of CGST Act 2017, incidental expenses incurred by supplier in relation to supply. What is that you have to write? At the time of or before the delivery of. Should I write services? Don't write, it's okay. I asking about your senses. When your question is asking about only a part of the provision, you are given the free choice to ignore the other part in the provision. Prefer about service. Talk about. That's how some questions might have 3 points to write. Directly go into the provision, talking about your question. Then we have written that. All of you have written, will be added to the value. Charged by supplier to recipient will be added to the value. Then next paragraph, like I said, moving from 1 mark to 2 marks would be the next paragraph. What you should write? The given question. You've written? Part is over. Write the second part. First part is over, right? All of you. Yeah. Let's go back to the question. What is that we have to write in the given question? AKJ Foods Private Limited. I will dictate it for you. Just get a clarity. Second paragraph. First paragraph is provision. Second paragraph is comment. Making a comment and then conclusion. The given question, AKJ Foods Private Limited. I'm picking it up from the question. AKJ Foods Private Limited has incurred testing fees. The given question. Second paragraph to this. The given question. AKJ Foods Private Limited has incurred testing fees in relation to supply of processed food from the customer. The given question, AKJ Foods Private Limited has incurred testing fees in relation to supply of processed food from the customer. What did I pick it up from? The given AKJ Foods incurred testing relation to supply of processed food from customer and charged same the customer and charged the same. One question, AKJ Food Private Limited has incurred testing fees in relation to supply of processed food from the customer and charged same from all the conditions satisfied. Hence, an incidental expenses per section, same paragraph, hence incidental expenses under section 15 to. There is no one right answer this. As long as you write these sentences, your answer is correct. Hence, incidental expense per section be included in value. Expense. What's your conclusion? Question is not asking about to be included or not. Question is asking what? Argument is correct or not? What is their argument? Be included or not to be included? Not to be included. What's your final answer? Hence, company's argument is not correct in the light of section. It closes. Closes count. We is yet to go into a question called as computation of value. How the table structure value computation.